NASCAR, and I found this interesting. Elton Sawyer said they only were looking into the wall riding. They were not looking into the radio communication going on between the Chevrolet drivers, Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, side by side behind William Byron. Pierre both of them were unable to get past. However, let's be honest, William Byron was on older tires than those two. All of a sudden, they can't get around him. And then Dillon's crew asking if the one team knew, quote, the deal, unquote. When it was shared, Byron, of course, was 1+2 to good. So the drivers of the 1 and the 3 knew that. It appears Chevrolet may have conspired something behind the scenes. Now, of course, if Byron loses that position to either one of those Chevys, there's no Chevrolet in the championship 4. None at all. Once again, Elton Sawyer in the press conference says they only looked at the wall riding. They did not look into this. They did not look into the 23 and the 23 radio when the tire came down. But they said they will be looking at things potentially later on the week. So, Ben, should there be a penalty come in later this week? And what would that look like?
Joe, I'm going to need to clarify that again one more time. Did Elton Sawyer, did he really say that? He really said they didn't look at the radio communications. They only look at
only on the wall ride, according to the press conference.
It took them that long, and all they were looking at was the wall ride. They weren't even looking.
Jordan Bianchi even asked, so it took 23 minutes for you to make a ruling on the wall ride. And Elton Sawyer said, yeah, we didn't know it was 5 or 55 minutes. We just had to get it right.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to look at the radio communications. They're going to find there was team orders, and then the wall ride only penalizes Bell, 4 spots? So, they're going to slap him with an MWR level penalty. That's going to put Bell back in. And hey, Jeff Gordon owned Jimmy Johnson's car, right? He was listed as the owner. Jimmy Johnson's old 48 team. That's the 5 car that Kyle Larson now drives. So they'll just add Kyle Larson like they just added Jeff Gordon, right? I mean, that's I guess what we're headed towards here. Oh man, okay. There's so many different layers to what we just have witnessed here. I don't know, man. I mean, I understand the argument that, we see team orders at Daytona and Talladega all the time. Teammates always are working together, trying to help each other out. But when you have, what gets lost in Richmond from Spingate is that, Front Row Motorsports helped Joey Logano get into the chase at the time. There were radio communications saying, like, thanks for giving up a couple spots there. Hopefully we get something out of that. Like, Front Row was on the radio with Penske trying to help Logano out. Everybody gets so caught up in what MWR was doing. But I don't know. I guess the conclusion that I have drawn here is that there are really only 3 teams in NASCAR these days. It's Chevrolet, Toyota, and Ford. Everybody works with everybody. Your factory teammates are quasi teammates or whatever. Because we got 3 different organizations here. Austin Dillon's with RCR, Ross Chastain's with Trackhouse, and they're helping. Why would they be helping a Hendrick driver? It must be team orders from Chevrolet there. Why would Bubba Wallace be potentially laying out, trying to exaggerate the effects of the tire he supposedly has going down? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to help out. Christopher Bell's not a teammate, but he's a Toyota teammate. He's a factory teammate, if you will. There's an alliance there. So I don't know. I mean, I would have to go back and listen to the radio in full here. I'm very surprised that that NASCAR apparently hasn't done that yet, or maybe they're doing it now as we're on the air. I don't know. In that case, I'm very surprised that it took them 20 plus minutes to make what I thought was a pretty clear black and white decision based on the precedent that was set 2 years prior. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll be able to look out Tuesday or Wednesday. But like I said, I think there were, if you could make the argument, there were some shenanigans between teams in both manufacturer camps there on both sides of the equation. If those cancel each other out, then Bell still has the wall ride penalty. He would be out. You put Byron in. I guess that minimizes the damage. But I feel like, there's both sides of the argument here, because you have to look at the integrity of the sport. But at the same time, the integrity of the sport is already damaged enough with the mess that we're already in. Maybe you just take a step back and, again, try to minimize the damage here and say, we made the decision that we made in the moment, or 23 minutes after the moment, whatever it is, and we're going to move on and go from there. And I don't know. It's an even year. Maybe Joey Logano wins the championship anyway, and all of this is just a moot point. But hey, if William Byron wins the championship, I don't know. Then we've got a real controversy and mess on our hands, I guess.
Yeah, and for me, hopefully, after hearing that they only investigated the Bell situation, that you can kind of see why I'm so, I guess, upset about it, because it's like, if there's two factors to this decision, why are you only researching into one of them and completely ignoring the other one? And now, if they do say, "Oh my gosh, Chastain and Dylan had Chevrolet orders to block," now you're on Wednesday. Who cares? Like, who cares? The championship race is in a few days. These guys are already in championship mode. For Christopher Bell's mindset, that'd be a complete turnaround if something were to happen. And then if they bring Larson into this because they penalize both Byron and then both Bell, I just I don't get it. I just should a penalty be coming? I mean, you hope, you think, because they just didn't do the research. He went out there, Alan Sawyer went out there in front of the media. I mean, there's 2 million people that saw this race on national television that saw the Austin Dillon audio, the radio, maybe not from him, but the radio. It's not like this just is something we can only access on the NASCAR mobile app or something in the NASCAR media portal. This was on national television where they said, what was it? Does the one know the plan or know the deal? It's like, if that's not conspiring to do something, I don't know what is. I mean, was it a few years ago with Cole Custer? Was it the Roval had a penalty? They docked him like 100 points or something like that because something was said on the radio and a blatant race manipulation happened. I'm not going to accuse them of being blatant and being manipulating the race, but from what we heard, it's hard to say they didn't do such a thing. So that's why I'm upset for the Bell situation. I bet you he comes out and he wins next week. And then he's going to be like, oh, well, Bell dominated Phoenix last time out. He probably would have done it again and he would have been a champion. But now he can't. Now he'll sit probably the highest he'll finish is 5th in the owners' points, 5th in the playoffs. So sucks for that team. But I just don't know how you can say confidently that you reviewed just one part of a 2-problem solution. You're not going to fix the problem just by viewing one part of it. That's how I feel about it. I agree with both your points, but I also respectfully disagree when it comes to that, because you can't make an overall decision with only trying to solve half the problem.
Yeah, but again, to your point as well, Matthew, I want to hear the full unedited transcript from all 3 teams and all 5 teams, I guess. We'll throw the 2 Toyotas in there as well. I want to make sure that absolutely nothing is taken out of context before I take a hard line stance on this here, because you're right. From the clip that we heard, from the clip that the millions of people watching, and surely more will see it on social media as it continues to circulate, from what we've all heard, it seems pretty clear. But I don't know. I want to make sure we have 100% of the evidence in front of us before we can definitively say one way or the other. But it does seem pretty clear from the cut that we have so far.
Yeah. Can I add to that, Joe? It's
Sure.
just like, if we want to hear 100%, why did NASCAR not want to hear the 100% of everything before making this decision? That's just what's like kind of on my nerve. And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. I know there's a lot of people watching this like, what the heck is this kid ranting about for no reason? It's just, I don't understand. We can't solve a problem with only looking at half of the problem. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know what they'll do. I think whatever they do, we're all going to either disagree or agree with it. They could maybe they add Bell, but the thing is, if Bell doesn't ride the wall, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If Bubba doesn't, like, whatever the tire issue going down, if that doesn't happen, we don't have this conversation. If Chastain and Dylan go around Byron, we don't have this conversation. But unfortunately, we have to have this conversation, and it just shows what the playoff system, what happens when this system is in place. And I know I was very positive about it, but the more and more this stuff happens week in and week out with this sport, I get more like Ben when it comes to the system. But yeah, sorry for yelling. I don't know why. I'm one of those like TV people yelling. There's no reason. I'm alone in my bedroom, so I apologize about that. I don't know why I'm yelling.
Well, Matthew, just a couple things, Joe, and I apologize. No, you said it's probably going to be a longer show tonight because we got a lot to discuss. I just want to follow up on a couple of things that Matthew said here. Seth Eves, friend of the show, works for Matthew Owens, who's been on Grid Tonight a lot recently with USRM. He and I have had this debate going back and forth for 3 or 4 years now. He tweeted this. He sent me his own tweet and said, you can quote this, write this, say this on Grid Tonight, repost it to your Instagram story, whatever you want to do with it, put it out there. I love chaos. I love entertainment. I've been the biggest playoff advocate. I don't want a full reversion to the pre-2004 Winston Cup format unless you shorten the season. But I'm pretty much done with this format. Congrats, playoff haters. You win. today was finally my breaking point. And I don't know. I would imagine a lot of fans feel the same way. I know there's a driver that feels the same way. Brad Keselowski tweeting this after the race as the decision was being made, and congratulations to him. He led a bunch of laps today. That's kind of gotten lost in all this too. You have a championship driver himself saying this should be the last straw on the camel's back for the playoffs. So it would appear to me that this is not the universally loved, praised upon situation that we have here with this system where you have to go out and what I heard Elton Sawyer also said you have to bring your A game every week. I don't know. Tyler Reddick certainly didn't bring his A game, but he didn't need to because he was already locked in, right? That Ross Chastain, Austin Dillon, they didn't seem like they were on their A game the last 5 or 10 laps there. It seemed like maybe they could have made a run on William Byron. Were they going 100%? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that A game line seems a little fishy to me, given what some drivers did today or what they didn't have to do today. Tyler Reddick didn't have to go out and be on his A game. Neither did Joey Logano. They were locked in. Everybody else, it was a different story.